Hi guys! I want to show you what's inside the John Pike palette. It's huge, as you can see. It's very big, which is one of the reasons I never bought it myself. I have considered buying it, but it was very big, so it's expensive in shipping, but also it takes up quite a bit of space on your worktop. However, that being said, what this holds is, ta-da-ta-ta, is a lovely colour collection by Winsor&Newton. It's the Artist watercolor paint. I will show you the wrappings of the pans, because this is not ordinary watercolor paint that you can still buy. These are actually the wrappings of the paint, and as you can tell, they are old. This paint dates from the 1960s, 1970s. That means that some of this paint may be older than I am. I was very curious how it would behave then, because you never know with very old paint. And well, these are the super swift color charts that I made simply by putting the colors, in the right order on the basis of these wrappings, for as far as I could still get any information about the colors from the outside, because as you can see, a lot of the colors are faded or changed over time. So I made this color charts, and what struck me was that even though these paints are old, the colors are vibrant and lush and really, really nice to work with. However, what I currently always do is I need information. I need pigment information, especially with old stock paints. So I downloaded a color chart hoping it would give me a little more clarity, which it didn't, because Winsor&Newton does not provide any pigment information on the color chart, which I think is a shame. I wish that Winsor&Newton would do that. Make a 2-page color chart and provide a little bit more information so that you can see on first glance what pigments you're buying, because I think that the moment people turn to artist grade colors, it becomes more and more important to know what pigments you're working with. So that would seriously be a very good how do you say that, an innovation by Winsor&Newton to give even, well, they do provide all the pigment information in a separate PDF that I downloaded, or PDF or a website, I don't know, but I soon found out that the numbers of these paints and do not correspond with the names anymore. Some names are not even on here anymore. So I quickly realized that neither the color chart nor the pigment information was going to do me any good. So I reached out to Winsor&Newton and I said, "Dear Winsor&Newton, I so much would love to know the pigment numbers of the colors that I have. Could you help me?" And there was a really lovely lady behind the customer desk, and she said, "Well, if you just send me the photo of your wrapping, I will send you the pigment number." So she thought it was only one, and then what I sent her is a PDF containing these two. So she says, "Oh God, you gave me quite a bit of work, but look what they sent me." She did some research and dated back most of the colors to 60s, 70s, and provided me with the pigments they used for those colors at the time. So I don't have 100% guarantee that this is it, and some colors were lacking, but I have a bulk of information now that I didn't have before. And it's really interesting because there are quite a few pigments on this chart that are no longer in use. The first that I was absolutely sure is no longer used is the Goeije, and its natural yellow 24 pigment number, which is the actual original organic Goeije, which now we have new Goeije, and most brands unfortunately have a multi-pigment Goeije in their collection, which is a reason why some people don't use it as much as, well, I love Goeije. I always turn to it, but I do know now that Goeije tends to become a bit brownish over time, or it fades quickly, so it's not very light fast, but for any reproduction illustrations it would be absolutely perfect. What's also really nice about this color, I read it in the Cassia, Cassius St. Clair book about pigments, that the gamboge, at the time, people were so happy that this color came out because there were just no bright yellows yet. So this was the brightest yellow at the time. And now if you look in this, you know, these are even old stock colors. I mean, right now there are so many more organic pigments and so much more refinements to light fastness and consistency in behavior. So, but this already is very impressive. If you think back of the time that this gamboge came onto the market, then, well, just try to relate to what it would mean to an artist living in that era to look at all the colors we have available now. And that is how this study of pigments is making me appreciate what we have these days so much more, and not just in art, but in our society as a whole. It's like watching, this is even old stock, but even this is such a progress from the days when gamboge first appeared on the market. And going even further in time, if you look at very young new brands like Golden, Golden has just started the core watercolor, so they use a very different transporter, or the carrying agent. So they are changing the rules again. So it's kind of really nice to start seeing an evolution in that. I'm really interested in that. I am going to swatch all these colours for you, no worries. There's one last thing I wanted to point out before I close this video. If you look at all the red letters, it's all the changes that Winsor&Newton have made. So if there is a cross, an X right in front of the number, the colour no longer exists at all anymore, or now has a very different name and a different pigment. So the cobalt violet used to consist of PV pigment violet number 14 and pigment blue 28, and it was number 88, but now it's number 192 and it only contains PV 14. So actually I think that's a totally different color now, so that's why I sort of indicated with the red what changes have been made over time. So I'm quite enthusiastic about the color because the reason I didn't own a huge palette of Winsor&Newton, I knew a few artists who were really, really enthusiastic about it, but I also know quite a few artists who told me that it's difficult to pick up, it ruins your expensive brushes because you have a lot of rubbing to do before paint comes off, because the pans tend to harden up a little bit more than other brands do, and especially when you use tube paint and you leave that to dry and re-wet it, it's rather hard. I noticed that because I do own a few tubes. But I have to say, this paint had been in the wrapping for so long, and the chromium colours that are all gone now because chrome colours are rather toxic, and they were all covered in chrome, what do you call it again, oxidization, chrome oxide. So I hope I haven't poisoned myself scraping it off with my craft knife, but what did I want to say? That's weird. I was suddenly so taken up by the chrome oxidization. What I want to say is that so many of the colors were just dying to get onto the brush and onto paper. And I don't know if the old stock wets better than new stock paint. I have no idea. But I was incredibly impressed by the paints, and I will definitely work with these. So, well, that's what I wanted to share with you. And if Winsor&Newton see this, thank you so much for looking up the pigment numbers. And, well, you did a really good job making paints if your paints look like this after so many years. So I'll swatch these colors for you and give you some more information on the pigments. I don't know when. It's going to be this summer, somewhere this summer. But for now, I just wanted to give you this already. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye.